you should check out my nigga narrow knowledge, because he talks about you can in life you can only have what you already have, meaning that you have to see it first in your mental before you see it with your eyes or physically. So smart people, they see with their mind, while the poor sees with their eyes. So the only reason why I'm going to teach you about money, even though if I'm broke, is because I've started this and I'm thinking that I should teach you. Not you can choose whether you would take it or you don't take it. I mean, who am I to tell you what to take and what not to take? So I'm cleaning the pot like my nigga Nero. You should check him out, guys. I'll put him on the side. You should check him out. He drops real gay. He drops real gay. He drops real gay. I also need a whiteboard pick today. Let me see. Okay. That's the rich. Let me start with the poor. Middle class. And the rich. Today I'm going to teach you about the different mentalities under each column. And then I'm also going to teach you how the rich, the middle class, and the poor think about money. What they think money is, how they acquire money, also what they also think about debt. So the first thing is the poor. What is their mentality towards money? The poor thinks that money is some root of evil. You get a lot of poor guys who be talking that the money is the root of all evil, but they still need to pay their bills. That's another point. They make money to pay bills. I really need a mic because now I need to speak louder, and I have neighbors because I live in Resmos. So when I speak loud, they need to pay bills. So have you ever heard about a poor guy or a poor woman? What they talk about is, I need to go to work tomorrow. Someone needs to pay the bills. You know, there's the electricity bill, there's the groceries, there's a lot of things. And then like they have more month at the end of the month. And you have to understand that poor, I didn't put it right though, because let me say poor and wealthy. Let me just say wealthy here. Simply because you have to understand that being poor and being wealthy is all about mindset. It's also measured by the money that you have, but being poor and being wealthy is all about the mindset. You also get being broke and being rich. Cause you can be wealthy but broke. Yes, you can be wealthy but broke. You know? And then also you can be poor. You can't be poor and rich, or you can't be poor and wealthy. If you are poor because it's a mindset, If you have a poor mindset, you stay broke forever. But you can have a wealthy mindset and still be broke before you make the money. I hope you understand what they mean. So, the middle class, why do the middle class make money? The middle class, I'm talking about people who, lawyers, doctors, why do they make money? They make money to look rich. Why do I mean they make money to look rich? They make money to get a bigger house. They make money to get a nicer car. I was always banking the arts and what class. That's why I can't draw. No, I'm kidding. I just can't draw. To get a nicer car, or a bigger house, a nicer car, more expensive clothes, all those things. They get money so they can look rich. The wealthy, they make money to make more money. They make money to make more money so they can make more money. That's the difference between the three. The poor, the middle class, and the wealthy. The wealthy make more money to make money. The wealthy makes money work for them. For the wealthy, money is a tool. Freedom is the goal. Freedom is the goal. The money is a tool to make more money. So this is the approach of the different categories to how they approach money. So now I'm going to show you how they acquire money. So the poor believe that you need to work harder. So the poor, they believe that you need to work harder in order to make money. Similar to the middle class. They think that making more money is all about working harder. Yes, you need to work harder, but I'll get to that. Relax. You're gonna get some. So the poor and the middle class, but the poor more specifically or more especially, they work for money. At some point, if you're starting from the ground, you need to work for money. I'm not saying that if you work for money, then you are poor. At some point, if you're starting from zero, just like I am, you need to work for money so you can generate income. But if you don't make your money, if you don't use your money to make more money, then you're gonna stay poor forever. So they work for money. The middle class, they also work for money, but they have a small business that is generating whatever money they're generating. It can be 100K, it can be 20K, because you have to understand one thing. One thing that you need to understand is that this thing, they also measure about money. But here is the mentality. Is the mentality behind money. It's not the number itself. It's the mentality. The onion business. And then the wealthy, they work for money and they have business. So the poor, they get paid for their physical work. And then the middle class is also paid by the physical work, but also by their business, because their business, what happens is, if you have a house, this is how the cash flow for a poor person look like. This is how the cash flow. I feel like if I just point out the cash flow, I will summarize everything. need to invest in equipment. I can't lie. I can't lie. This is much better than the previous one, but I don't know why that's why. Because actually, like, I feel tired, you know, like lifting my hand so wealthy. So So I'm gonna call the first window the income window, the asset window, the liability window, and the expense window. So the poor, they work for money. They work for money. The money comes in at their income window, and it goes out of the expense window. This is actually their cash flow. This is how the money comes in. This is how the money comes out. The money don't work for them. They work for it so they can pay bills, pay the electricity bill, and pay whatever school fees, whatever they need to pay. But their only source of income is from their work. It's from their work. It's from physical work. It's from going into the office from 9 to 5. Or if you are a farmer, whatever. Because remember, you can also be a lawyer and still be poor. Like I said, being poor is not, I'm not actually talking about how much you earn. I'm just talking about like the mindset, the approach, the way you spend it. So the middle class, they have, let's say, they work, and also they have a small business. They have a small business. So they also have maybe a car, whatnot. So if they work, the money comes in. And then from their business, their asset, the money comes in. Now you have two windows generating money. So what happens is, as your business, your money also go into your income window. What happens to the income window? The income window grows. It grows. Since it has two sources of incomes. From here, it goes from the liability, whatever liability they have to pay, and then it goes out to the expenses. There's the cash flow for middle class person. Now the rich, what they do is, let's say they do work for money, but the rich, the wealthy, doesn't necessarily work for money. They get their money from ideas. Because they don't work for money. Money works for them. They make money work for them. While they sleep, the money is in the office, typing, sending emails, who cares? They get the money from their ideas. What they do is, when the money comes from the ideas, it comes in the income window. From the income window, they acquire assets. Your assets can be even from South Africa, the Quantum, taxi, Avanza to drive the kids to school. Now, the more they invest this money in their asset window, what happens to the asset window? The asset window grows. It grows. Once it's big enough, I'm gonna be still sending money. When it's big enough, it starts generating money. So the money goes back into the income window. It's a back and forth. In chemistry, we say, I can't say equilibrium, but in chemistry, we say equilibrium. But when they're at equilibrium, it means that the forward direction is equals to the reverse reaction. But in this case, they are not exactly at equilibrium. It's just a back and forth, which increases the size of these windows. These windows, they end up being so big that these two, they're no longer visible. But this will maybe a billion or something. Well, that's not actually also measured by money, it's measured by content, how happy you are. Because you also have to have a finish line. Because if this goalpost, if this finish line keeps on moving, then to some extent you might have a problem. So this is not actually measured by the money, but the mindset. So what happens then? These two windows, as it's getting more money, as it's changing, these two windows become so big that these two windows don't even become visible no more. Because they still have expenses, they still have liabilities. But those liabilities, and also since they live below their means, their expenses are low. They live below their means, their expenses are low. So what happens is this window even shrinks. Because they live below their means, it shrinks. This is the mentality. Leave in the comment if you want to know about the mindset behind that. Because money is that.